I don't think I can do it, man.
You can. You have to, Sarah John. You have to have deep breaths. Yeah, you have to do it. Come on.
Okay, let's see. I have to do it. I have to do it. Is it okay if I wear my glasses or not?
Yeah, that's all right.
Hello, hello. Are we on? Ah, okay. Hello. Hello, hello. No? Okay.
Just gonna speak right into it.
Okay. Thanks. Okay, good morning, everyone. Good morning, welcome, Allah Apa. I'm going to try to do my best. So forgive me, please. It's not easy. I never saw this coming. Not for a long, long time. Anyway, yeah. So thank you so much for making an effort to come here. And on behalf of my sister, my brother, and my sons, my wife, my brother-in-law, we thank you very much for coming here today. Today we are not here to mourn my mother's passing. I think we are here to celebrate her life. Sorry. Try my best. My mother was a gentle soul. She was beautiful. You've seen her photos in the booklet. She looks like a model. She had a great heart. Her life was her children, her grandchildren, her great-grandchildren, and her brothers. She's got 4 brothers still living. 1 has passed. So in a way, I'm happy that she's joined my dad, her mom and dad, and her brother. I truly believe that when we pass, we go somewhere nicer. This is my personal feeling. So I hope I'm right. I cannot see anything else. She had a sense of humor. She had a beautiful laugh. Every time she laughed from her heart. Strong character. My mother was such a strong character. So independent. Sometimes it was to the point that my sister and I and my brother, we would get angry with her because she was so independent. She would refuse help. She just wanted to do it her way. She wanted to stand on her own feet. Right to the last days, she was still on her own feet. She would get a bus from Willoughby and go to Chatswood. And my sister would say, "Mom, you're going to get lost. You cannot do it." "No, I can do it. I can do it. I can do it." She had such a willpower. Such a strong willpower, that woman. So I miss her. I miss her really badly. But that is life. She was very good in playing cards. Sometimes she would even cheat. 3.5 years ago, I arranged a reunion with my uncles, her brothers. I got 4 of them in Gold Coast, 2 of my uncles came from US, and the other two obviously in Queensland with my sister. We had a great time. My mom was so happy that she was with her brothers, because I knew one day it's going to happen, and she was so attached to her brothers. So I thought it was my job, my responsibility to get them all together. And we did, and we had a great time. She loved having a cup of green tea with almond croissant. She loved it. Sometimes she would cheat and have a KFC. Every time we went out, Mom, let's go and have lunch. No, I want to have KFC, so we would have KFC. She had a kind of a routine herself. Every Thursday, she would go to Chas Food and catch up. She had a group of friends. They would get together and have lunch together. And she was looking forward to that for every week. So, we love her, we miss her, we wish her all the best. And one day, obviously, I'm hoping that I will join her as well. Yeah, so this is a little bit about my mother. So the program today is very simple. We try to make it very simple. After me, we've located a Baha'i prayer who's been sung by my late father, it was 30 years ago. And the quality is not very good, but I think I owe it to my mom to play that for my dad, for my mother. So we're going to play that. And as I said today, hopefully with your help, we're going to celebrate her life. I will talk about her life and her devotion towards Baha'i religion, that she sacrificed with my father 10 years of their lives spreading the Baha'i religion in Arabic countries. So I will talk about that later on, and it's a very, very emotional. And I salute both my dad and my mom for sacrificing 10 years of their lives for the sake of Baha'i religion. I cannot do it, but they did it. So God bless them, both of them, because my dad is here as well. So my mom is going to join my father today. Is together here. Ah, dear. Okay, so thank you very much again. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
به کدام لسان طلب مغفرت با آموزش کنم نفسی خالصم به بچه که از قفستان بر نیاوردم و گامی جز به کام نفس بر نداشتم خدایا چنان مستغرق اسیان شدم که از نفس اسیان خجلم تا چه رسد در پیشگاه اقدست الها چگونه شکر و نعمات والا باطنی و آفره دائمت را به جای آرم معلوم بخت باطی را به عرصه شهود و هستی در آوردی و به شرف ظهور لقای خود که آمال جمیع انبیا و اولیا بود مشرف داشتی از ذکرت غافل شدم و از تو از من غافل نشدی نسیان تو را کردم رحمت منبسط خود را از من باز نگرفتی خدایا در این حین و در این هنگام دستم از چار کوتاه مغفرتت را سائل و عاملم أسألك بأنظار أيامك وآثارك أن تغفر لي ولأبي وأمي إنك أنت أرحم الراحمين لا إله إلا أنت المشفق الكريم.
That was my father, almost 31 years ago. Yeah, okay, so now we will play the prayer with music, please.
این یاران روش راستی داشتند و خدا پرستی خواستند و به دوستی پرداختند و به نام تو مشهور بودند و به آیین تو معروف. حال پری گشودند و به جهان تو شتافتند در کیهان عنصری کشتی نمودند و به آب هدایت رحمانی آبیاری نمودند تا در جهان تو خرمنی اندوزد و به نور آموزش روی برافروزد. و بخششت بی پایان ای آمرزگار آموزشی بخش ای مهمان و غفران مبذول دار تویی بخشنده و آمرزنده و درخشنده و تابان.
Thank you. Seijan.
Is there any remover of difficulties save God?
Say praise be God, He is God. All are His servants and all abide by His bidding.
This is Ibrahim Zadeh. This is Adel. والله پروردگارا آمرزگارا نفس نفیسی به ملکوت شهود صوت نمود و از خاکدان فانی به جهان جاودانی شتاب میهمان جدید است عزیز فرما بنده قدیم است به خلط بدی عطا کن ای بی نیاز بیامرز و بنواز و به خلوتگاه راز راه ده و در محفل تجلی همدم و همساز نما تویی دهنده و بخشنده و مهربان و تویی آمرزنده و نوازنده و توانا والله بخشنده یزدانا این بندگان آزادگان بودند و این جانهای تابان به نور هدایتت روشن و درخشنده گشتند جامی سرشار از باده محبتت نوشیدم
و اسراری بی پایان از اوتار معرفتت شنیدن دل به تو بستم و از دام بیگانگی جستم و بیگانگی تو پیوستم این نفوس نفیس را انیس لاهوتیان فرما و در حلقه خاصان درآ و در خلوتگاه عالم بالا محرم اسرار کن و مستغرق بحرم بار فرما توی بخشنده و درخشنده و مهربان عبدالبها عباس.
Sorry.
And now concerning thy question regarding the soul of man. And its survival after death. Know thou of a truth that the soul, after its separation from the body, will continue to progress until it attaineth the presence of God, in a state and condition which neither the revolution of ages and centuries, nor the changes and chances of this world can alter. It will endure as long as the kingdom of God, His sovereignty, His dominion and power will endure. It will manifest the signs of God and His attributes, and reveal His loving kindness and bounty.
The nature of the soul after death can never be described, nor is it meet and permissible to reveal its whole character to the eyes of men. The prophets and messengers of God have been sent down for the sole purpose of guiding mankind to the straight path of truth. The purpose underlying their revelation hath been to educate all men, that they may at the hour of death ascend in the utmost purity and sensicity and with absolute detachment to the throne of the Most High. The light which these souls radiate is responsible for the progress of the whole world and the advancement of its peoples. They are like unto leaven which leaveneth the world of being, and constitute the animating force through which the arts and all the wonders of the world are made manifest.
Oh God, this is a difficult one. And at this time, I would like to share with everyone about my mother and my father's pilgrimage to Arabic countries and their devotion of 10 years of their lives to the Baha'i faith. I have to read it from the notes because I was not there, so I don't know. These were extracted from my dad's tapes. We listened to the tapes, we condensed it, translated it to English, and now we are reading it. So I will share with you. It is very emotional, obviously for the immediate family, and the hardship that they went in order to spread the religion in countries that really they were so primitive. I mean, we're talking about 70 years ago. Places like Dubai, like Qatar, like Saudi Arabia, they were very different. It's not like now. So I need to wear my glasses. And God help me that I can keep my cool right so I can read. Excuse me. My mother, Roohyeh Imani, was born on 24th of November 1933 in the city of Sirjan of Kerman province in Iran, in a Baha'i family. The father, Ali Imani, and the mother, Ziae Wasaghi. My mother's family lived in Sirjan until 1949. However, Muslim resentments and threat to the family was so bad that the entire family's lives were in danger. They were constantly getting attacked. Their house and business were damaged to the level that my grandfather, Ali Imani, decided to move the family to Bandar Abbas in south of Iran. Meanwhile, a mutual friend of the family, Mr. Jahanpur, contacted my granddad and asked for my mother's hand for the son of the close family friend who was living in Kerman, and that was Sotudeniya family. The living environment in Iran for the Baha'is was very difficult and quite dangerous those days. My grandfather's family was under constant violent threats from the authorities. His family, as Baha'i of good standing, was quite well known. My grandfather accepted the marriage proposal. One of the reasons being that those Muslims had threatened to abduct and kill my mother. That was the way they wanted to get to my granddad. We should make a movie out of this. At that time, my father was living in Kerman doing his military service. Eventually, 45 days after the wedding proposal, my mother and father got married in Sirjan. And immediately they moved to Kerman. The living situation of my granddad as a Baha'i got so bad that he took his family to Bandar Abbas, leaving everything, all their belongings behind. They just ran away to save their lives. When my father's military service was finished, my mom and dad moved to Ahwaz, and then my dad found a job. However, due to extreme hot and humid weather, later on my father requested to be transferred to Shiraz, where they eventually settled. In 1952, when the hand of course Mr. Khaze was encouraging the young Baha'is to pioneer as per 10 years plan set forth by the beloved guardian Roohyeh Imani, my father got excited. He wanted to do it. So he followed the beloved guardian's request. My dad moved to Tehran, preparing for pioneering to the Arab Emirates, where at that time was a country which was all desert, very primitive, with below the minimum level of human living, standard living. Disaster place for living. But they wanted to serve the religion. My father eventually moved to Bandar Abbas, and from there by a small boat to Dubai. One of the Baha'is of Dubai, Mr. Sarvestani, helped him to rent a place, and he started his audio repair shop. I don't know how where he learned to do that. I don't know. Anyway, my father went back to Shiraz to pick my mother. My mother must have been 16, 17 years old. And then they moved to Dubai by a small boat. The weather was extremely hot. The sea was rough. The boat was full of cattle, mainly cows, and some Arabs. My parents were the only non-Arabs on that small boat. My mother was seasick throughout the entire trip. It was a terrible journey for both my mom and my dad. Upon their arrival, they were welcomed by some of the Baha'is. There was no electricity. There was no running water. Drinking water was collected into a big barrel, and the weather was so hot and humid, some worms were living in that barrel. So my mom and dad used to filter the water through cotton cloth. The taste was awful, but there was no other choice. They had to do it. For formal washing and bath, they had to use the seawater. Insects were all over the area. At night, they had to stay inside the mosquito nets. Otherwise, in the morning, the exposed part of the body would be infected by poison. There were no toilets in any houses. So people, men and women, would have to go to the sea to do their business, number 1 and 2. my mother had to be in full Islamic attire, wearing chador and mask to cover her face. Their fun was to go to the beach in the evening after the sunset, taking a winding record player, the gramophone, and some food to have picnic. Sometimes due to the hot weather, they would stay on the beach overnight till morning because it was cooler. Seeing some birds would make them so excited and happy because there were no birds around. So if you see one or two birds, it's a novelty. In those days, despite of those extreme living conditions, they were happy and proud that they were following the beloved guardian's request. They were serving the religion. It made them very happy and proud. The pages have been mixed up. 4. Sorry, I apologize. Where is 4? What happened to 4, sir?
Under the tree.
Is it 4? Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm so sorry. It was giving them satisfaction and honor that they were serving God and the Baha'i faith. They had to be very careful when making contacts with locals because as a Muslim nation, they were very prejudiced and aggressive when talking about the Baha'i faith. In the summer of 1952, by the request of the beloved guardian, Mr. Yazdani, who went to Dubai to visit for propagation of the Baha'i faith and have meetings with the locals. This created much resentment and anger within the Arab community. And consequently, one of the extremist Muslim, Ali Amel, a school teacher, started agitating the locals and eventually went to the Sheikh of Dubai, telling him many lies about Baha'is, accusation and slander about the Baha'i faith. In 1953, Mr. Shahab Zahrai was deported from Muscat, Oman, and had to go to Dubai. Then finally, they had the 9 people to start the first assembly in Dubai. After a while, my parents decided to move to a new pioneer point, which was Saudi Arabia. Since my father had a good relationship with the assistance of the Dubai Sheikh, they could get Dubai passport. They set out for Bahrain by boat, and by a small plane, they flew to Zahran in Saudi Arabia. At that time, my mother was pregnant. Expecting her first child, which is me. As soon as they disembarked the plane in Saudi Arabia, the authorities came over and deported them back to Bahrain with the same plane immediately. Later on, my parents learned the reason for the deportation was that Muslim man, Ali Amel, who had reported them to Saudi officials as Baha'is are coming to Saudi Arabia to spread the faith. In Bahrain, Mr. Faizi and the LSA asked my father and mother to go to Qatar. So now they go to Qatar. Mr. Faizi graciously asked them to stay in his house until they could go to Qatar. Mr. Faizi was spending all his time and money educating Baha'i children at no cost, although he was not in a good financial situation himself. Eventually, my mom and dad managed to go to Qatar. Over there, Mr. Rouhani accepted them at his house. Mr. Rouhani was working as a carpenter and had a good business and good relation with the locals. So he was able to help the Baha'is move to Qatar, either as pioneers or transit going to Akka for pilgrimage. Mr. Rouhani introduced, thank you. Mr. Rouhani introduced my parents to a non-Baha'i Iranian. His name Haji Ali Akbar Lari, who helped them rent a big house. After a while, two other Baha'i families arrived in Qatar, Mr. and Mrs. Ibrahimi and Mr. Rezvani with his mother. They stayed with my parents and shared the house rent. Qatar was very hot and humid. Most of the houses did not even have a fan. But my parents were lucky that they had a small fan in the room. And somehow they settled in Qatar because they were happy that they were helping to spread the Baha'i faith. Later on, my father started his audio repair shop with his partner, Mr. Yadullah Muhammad Najad, whom with his daughter were later martyred by the Islamic regime. They both were killed. In July 1955, I was born. It was around that time in Iran that Falsafi and Mullah started agitating public opinion about Baha'is, which resulted in destruction of the Baha'i center in Tehran, Hazrat al-Quds. The wave of anger and agitation eventually arrived in Qatar. And as the result, the head of police force, who was a British officer, warned my parents about the danger of extremists in Qatar. He really wanted to protect the Baha'is, this British officer. The situation got worse and worse, to the point that my father had to send my mother and me back to Tehran. And sometimes later, my father joined us in Tehran. A year later, my parents made a decision to go back to Qatar via Bushehr, which is a port in south of Iran, to continue their service to the Baha'i faith. However, they got informed by the police that they should go back immediately to Shiraz as their lives were in danger due to the extremist activities in that area. Consequently, my parents went back to Shiraz and then to Khorramshahr, from there to Qatar. While they were back living in Qatar, they were informed, I don't believe this, they were informed that as part of the 10-year plan, the country of Iraq needed pioneers. Because the beloved guardian was a bit disappointed with the National Assembly of Iraq not promoting the Baha'i faith as per his request. Pioneers for Iraqi towns of Karbala, Najaf, Samarra were needed. And guess who wants to go? My mom and dad. Mr. Faizi asked my parents to go to Iraq. With a little baby. With a little baby. Yeah, sorry. Mr. Faizi asked my parents to go to Iraq to help forming the LSA in those towns. In 1957, they moved to Baghdad, where they met Mr. Khadem and Mr. Samandari in the Baha'i Center. Upon the request from Mr. Faizi, my parents went to Karbala, where they met Mr. Hidayatullah Yazdani, Mr. Hayati, Mrs. Khalili, Mr. Jawad Talhan, and Mr. Udatullah Bidadel. And together they helped to form the LSA in Karbala. Somebody needs to.
I hold.
Somebody needs to hold this.
I hold.
You see, my mom is getting upset. I mean, when I read this, and I was reading this yesterday, I was visualizing for myself this story. Okay, where are we? My parents were living in a house opposite to the shrine of Imam Hussein. After the LSA of Karbala was formed, Mr. Samandari and Mr. Dawood Taleh, assistant to the head of the cause, came to Karbala, and they stayed in my parents' house. In Karbala, my mother was expecting the second child, my sister Soila. Karbala was a filthy city, full of insects and very, very unhygienic. And my mom has got a little boy. I'm pregnant 7 months with my sister. Soon, the NSA of Iraq informed my parents that they had only 2 weeks to leave Iraq. Reason? Apparently some people again had gone to the officials and accused my parents of disturbing and agitating the public opinion. Because my mom and dad, they were preaching all the time. My parents had to contact Mr. Frutan and Mr. Khadem, who were in Iraq at the time. But despite all their attempts, my parents could not get permission to stay and had to leave Iraq. As my mother was 7 months pregnant, they decided to go back to Iran by land via a dusty road and very hot weather, where my mom, my dad, and myself, I was little, we all got sick. In Tehran, they stayed with my mother's parents, my grandfather and my grandmother. When in September of 1957, the second child, my sister, was born. My parents lost everything. My parents lost everything they had. My parents lost everything they had during the 10 years of pioneering in those Arabic countries. They concluded the 10 years of crusade, went back to Iran with no money, totally broke, with absolutely zero in their pockets. They had to restart a new life in Iran. They lived in Iran until 1978, after which they moved to UK because I was studying in UK. They came and they lived in Cambridge in the UK. Thank you, honey. And then to Spain with my brother Saba, and finally migrated to Australia, where my sister and my brother-in-law were living. My father passed away in 1994 in Sydney, and he's buried over there. My beautiful mother passed away in peace on 19th of January. She survived by 3 children, Soila, Sahaba, and myself, 6 grandchildren, and 6 great-grandchildren. Thank you very much. I'm sorry that I could not do it properly. Sahaba.
O thou forgiving God, forgive the sins of my loving mother. Pardon her shortcomings, cast upon her
my baby brother.
the glance of thy gracious providence. And enable her to gain admittance into thy kingdom. O God, from the earliest days of my life, she educated and nurtured me. Yet I did not recompense her. For her toil and labours. Do thou reward her by granting her eternal life and making her exalted in thy kingdom. Verily, thou art the forgiver, the bestower, and the kind. Abdul Baha.
Take a chance.
O Lord, O thou whose mercy hath encompassed all, whose forgiveness is transcendent, whose bounty is sublime, whose pardon and generosity are all-embracing, and the lights of whose forgiveness are diffused throughout the world. O Lord of glory, I entreat thee fervently and tearfully to cast upon thy handmaiden, who hath ascended unto thee, the glances of the eye of thy mercy. Robe her in the mantle of thy grace, bright with the ornaments of the celestial paradise, and sheltering her beneath the tree of thy oneness, illumine her face with the lights of thy mercy and compassion. Bestow upon thy heavenly handmaiden, O God, the holy fragrances born of the spirit of thy forgiveness. Cause her to dwell in a blissful abode. Heal her griefs with the balm of thy reunion. And in accordance with thy will, grant her admission to thy holy paradise. Let the angels of thy loving kindness descend successively upon her, and shelter her beneath thy blessed tree. Thou art verily the ever-forgiving, the most generous, the all-bountiful. Abdul Baha.
Mr. Ad. اینجا
trying to drink the water.
بله. شما از این ور میخوام باشیم. Can you change this please, Doctor? They need to face the coffin when they see them. Yeah?
Stand up.
Please, if everybody could kindly please stand up.
Can I use the water? أمتك وابن أمتي الذي آمن بك وبآياتك وتوجه إليك منقطعا عن السماء إنك أنت أرحم الراحمين أسألك يا غفار الذنوب وستار العيوب أن تعمل به ما ينبغي لسماء جودك وبحر إفصالك وتدخله في جوار رحمتك الكبرى التي سبقت أرض والسماء لا إله إلا أنت الغفور الكريم الله أكبر إنا كل لله عابدون 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 الله أكبر إنا كل لله ساجدون 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 الله أكبر إنا كل لله قانتون 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 الله أكبر إنا كل لله ذاكرون 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 الله أكبر إنا كل لله شاكرون 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 الله أكبر إنا كل لله صابرون 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 إنا كل لله صابرون.
متشکرم. Thank you very much. Please be seated. Thank you. Okay, so the next step now is we take the body for burial, and after that we would like to invite you please to join us for lunch and some refreshment at a place called The Checkers, which is about 10 minutes, 15 minutes drive from here. The best way to get to Checkers is once you go up the Monaville Road, after the Baha'i Temple, the first set of traffic lights, you turn right. The street is called McCarr's Creek Road. And then there's a mini roundabout, you turn left, so it will take you from the behind of Checkers.
And the address is at the
And the address is on the back of the booklet. Okay? So after here, sorry?
Moyers Street. MYOOR.
No, but if they go from here, they cannot do a U-turn.
No.
Oh yeah, more. But I mean, we all have GPS, so please kindly put your GPS on, and get there. So we'll be delighted to see all of you there for lunch and some refreshment, and we continue celebrating my mom's life.
the slides.
And there is a slideshow with a lot of photos there. So thank you very much. You made us very proud, and by you coming here, you helped us very much. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, all good. So now we will take the casket. Saba Jambia. So Saba and I be on the front, then Sorel and Sasha, then Said and
برم چطوری عزیزم قربون بودی شما اینجا بله ما از آره گلار بر شما کاتالوگش رو برداشتین یادگاری از این کاتالوگ بذار من بدم سبقه اینجا تازه بدم
دوست دارم که داشته باشمشون.
الله با حال شما حالتون خوبه
چرا قشنگ عکس مامان می‌گذاری دست دارم مامان بودش خیلی شاده
دیگه این خیلی سختی کشیده این مهاجرت گوش دادی که همیشه میگه ولی از این برم گوش بودی اصلا خانم
قربون شما اومدن شما اومدن شما رونق
سه ماه شد 6 ماه بچه یه سن مثلا تو مونده
چیزی نامدن الله خلادن جان چطوری عزیزم قربون دارم مرسی عزیزم مرسی شد خیلی ممنون این آقای ارفانیان قربان شما قربان شما خیلی ممنون آقای ارفانیان عزیز چطوری
خوبه اونجا؟ ببری؟
آقای مزمون خوبی شما منتظر خانمی
من ناظرم تشریعی
داری کاتالوگ داریم یادگاری مامان بهتون دادن
اینجا
نتون برم مرسی
خوبی خیلی ممنون
قربان شما آقای محبتی دارین از این یادگاری بفرمایید برای شما آقای قربون شما متشکرم کسی میخواد
خانم اضافه هست
هست اگه کسی اضافه میخواد هنوز هست خلاصه حالا اینا رو من بعد کارتا رو چیز کنم خلاصه این برادر من خیلی حیوان احساساتیه خیلی آره خیلی با محبته بدنش میلرزید حالا هرچی میگم سراج دست خودش نیستی من دلش هم میسوزه کار نمیتونم قربون شما میبینید چه که مامان حالا ما رو که میدید میگفت سویلا ولی اون موقع خیلی خوش بودیم زندگی ها ساده بود قد میگفتیم میخندیم ولی اخیراً که پیر شده بود میشه راجع به زندگیش فکر میکرد میگفت ببین سویلا خیلی سختی خیلی سختی آره ولی خب میگه راحت جوون بودیم و هیچی تجملات هم برامون مهم نبود همین دور هم بودیم احباب و اینا برامون
سیرجان دنیا آمدن اینطوری که
بله
سیرجان ما موقعی که پاکستان بودیم یادم استرالیا اونجا دو سه شب خوابیدیم ظاهرا
من برم اینا دارن بریر میکنن برم ببینم چه خبره قربون شما این روز گذاشتن اگه کسی میخواد بندازه روی قبر روز گذاشتن کسی دوست داره من خوب کاری کن بردارین آب مخصوصا تشنگیه ای وای خانم عشقی داره میره من یه گل چیزی داشته را نمیاد اونجا یه گل بهش بدم زحمت میشه همه به خانم عشقی میخواد بره جان خانم عشقی داره میاد